Hallo zusammen, hier spricht Echofrosch und herzlich willkommen zurück zu Aviary Attorney. Wir helfen der Revolution, mehr oder weniger. And then, while we were sitting in the tavern, Falcon gave me the opportunity to escape. He created a distraction and I sneaked away and went straight to the police. Then you called a meeting and, well, here I am. So, yeah, that's the whole story. I see. So Severin Cocorico died at the hands of the rebels. That's right. And Falcon revealed his true colors as a traitor. Traitor? No, that's not right, Inspector. Falcon's not a rebel. He's just playing along so he can save his own life. Don't be so naive, Sparrowson. Put the puzzle pieces together. Falcon willingly leapt into the lion's den for the specific purpose of siding with the rebels. He let you escape because he could see that you weren't truly sympathetic to the rebel cause. That doesn't make sense at all. Falcon's never shown a rebellious streak. Tell me, Sparrowson, what do you know about Falcon's past? Not a lot. He's a private person. Has he ever told you what he did during the July Revolution, before he changed his name? No, he hasn't told me anything, really. Sparrowson, let me tell you about the man they call the Viridian Killer. Wir haben also doch eine... Also, es war klar, dass wir irgendeine Vergangenheit haben. Ich bin nicht ganz sicher, wo wir hingehen sollen. Tuilerien, warum nicht? Let me think. So, it takes 10 minutes to walk from the Place de la Concorde to this very spot. And the Palais Royal lies 5 minutes north of here. But the crowd will be fairly large and slow. It may take twice, maybe 3 times as long to make the move. Having a logistics problem, madame? Perhaps. The plan is to walk the crowd from here through Tuileries to the Palais Royal. But if we take too long to pass through Tuileries, the police will trap us in. We could be flanked and slaughtered. That is quite an issue. Why not just get the protesters to meet at the Palais Royal itself? Because the Place de la Concorde is an ideal meeting location. It's enormous and easy to get to. I see. But even if you got, say, half the protesters to meet at the Palais Royal, you would cut down on traveling time. I get it. A smaller crowd would be easier to direct across the garden. I'll pass the idea along to Pierrot and see what he has to say. He's the one in charge of leading the crowds, after all. That bird-brained parrot would probably just shoot the idea down, right? Probably, but I appreciate your input. I don't know if you genuinely want to help or if you're just telling me what I want to hear out of fear, but thank you, Falcon. It's no problem, madame. For the Second Republic, right? Right, for the Second Republic. Huh. The Palais Royal. Just look at that disgusting den of fat-cat bourgeois and hypocritical politicians. The king is probably in there as we speak. Probably sitting in his high chair, stuffing his bloated face with cake and wine while he boasts about being the perfect citizen king. Did you come here just to moan about the king? No, I've come to assess the potential battleground. On the day of the rebellion, I might order Pierrot to set up a barricade over there. What do you think? There, right outside the Palais Royal? Of course, it's the perfect place for a defensive garrison. We can get our furniture from nearby buildings, build a wall, and position rifles to defend off the police. When the time is right, it will serve as the ideal location to launch our assault on the palace. So you weren't just throwing... Entschuldigung. So you weren't just throwing empty words in the tavern. You actually do intend on dragging the king out of the palace through violence. Of course, he will never abdicate on his own volition. It's not as if I want to see bloodshed, Falcon. It's necessary. It's inevitable. I mean, we have to be realistic. There's no way to bring change to a country without using violence, is there? Ich weiß nicht. I think there are ways. People look back on the violent moments of history, the executions, the wars, the bloody revolutions. But who's to say that a country could not be overturned just through the chance of the people? A pacifist revolution. Interesting. I would love for such a thing to be possible. Maybe it would be better to avoid building the barricades. At least until it's clear that violence is inevitable. That's good. That's a good compromise, madam. Hey, wir haben geholfen, oder nicht? Oder durch uns sterben jetzt die Rebellen alle und weil die Rebellion blutig niedergeschlagen wird und sie keine Barrikade haben. Wer weiß. Le Hall, huh? Let me guess, you have a weapons supplier somewhere around here. Or maybe this is where you plan on meeting an informant, a government defector. It is as good a meeting spot as any. Actually, I'm here for groceries. There's no need for that look. You think that just because I'm a gun-toting rebel, I don't need to buy food? Mam Beaumont. Well, well, if it isn't Sultan and little Gambate. You're growing bigger every time I see you. Ma'am, you have to hear this. Something big went down here yesterday. A policeman! A nasty, ugly policeman! Let me guess. He was bullying people into revealing secrets on the whereabouts of the revolutionaries. Well, that's how it started, ma'am. Same old bullying tactics. He was pushing around this old beggar rat who hangs around the market sometimes. But then, when the rat wasn't speaking up, the policeman drew his gun and shot him. The policeman shot the beggar? Just like that? Yep, but then the coward cop went and ran before we could turn on him. I find this difficult to believe. A policeman wouldn't openly shoot a beggar without just cause. Open your eyes, Falcon. This is the regime us Parisians live under. We are ignored by the government, oppressed by the police and hanged by the courts. Why do you think I'm fighting so hard to make a change? We can't put up with this sort of bullying. No, this can't be right. Something has to be missing from Sultan's story. Do you mind if I ask a couple of questions, madame? Sure, ask away. Make it quick, Falcon. If a policeman did shoot an innocent person, then there would surely be an investigation. Ha! Your naivety knows no bounds, Falcon. You think the police care if one of their own is out of control? Actually, there was one bloke asking around, but I don't think he was a policeman. Oh, go on, madame. Well, he was this charming fox. Renard. A friend of yours, Falcon? Something like that. We should probably pay him a visit to see what he's up to. Pay him a visit? I suppose we can set aside a little time. Did you want to know something else? Klar. What did the policeman look like? Well, I didn't get a good look, but he was tall and ugly and mean looking and he had one eye. One eye? Yep, had one of them pirate patches. There's no way. Ring any bells, Falcon? I know a man who fits the description, but it simply couldn't be him. He's a bitter individual, but he's morally righteous. I can't imagine him shooting an innocent person so recklessly. Don't let your bias toward the justice system affect your judgment, Falcon. If you think you know who did this, then please name and shame him. I think I should bite my tongue until I'm a little more certain. Did you want to know something else, monsieur? Ja, klar. Just who was this beggar rat? I didn't really know him well, monsieur. None of us did. He was kinda a loner who hanged around asking for scraps of food and cents. I didn't even know his name. That's so sad. Did he have no family, no means of support? Falcon, do you have any idea how many beggars are there on the streets of Paris? How many people go hungry? How many people are forced to turn to crime? I'm well aware, madame. I'm asking these questions to see if there was perhaps some reason why that particular rat was killed. But no. It appears that this was just the loss of one unnamed beggar rat among many. It's tragic. That it is, monsieur. Is there any other way I can help? That's all, madame. Thanks for all your help. No problem. Anything to help Madame Beaumont. We'll try to get to the bottom of this, Sultan. Just make sure to stay safe when the revolution starts. Stay inside. Keep Gambade safe. Of course, ma'am. You stay safe yourself, you hear? Okay. Also Volerti hat anscheinend irgendjemanden erschossen. Einfach so. Ich meine, er ist unter großem Druck. Visitors, Monsieur Wilp, visitors! Really, Falcon, what do you hope to accomplish in this sleazy back alley establishment? Sleazy? Madame, my back alley office is perhaps a little cluttered and eclectic, but I resent the accusation of sleaze. Maybe I should do the introductions. Monsieur Wilps, this is Madame Beaumont, a, friend of mine. Madame, this is Renard Wilp, private investigator at your service. It is a pleasure to meet you, madame. Ah, how stoic. I'm sure you have some pressing question to ask, Falcon, but before we get started there is something I must tell you. Monsieur Sparrowson dropped by earlier. He informed me of your situation. Sparrowson? Is he all right? Oh yes, he's now working with Inspector Volerti, attempting to unravel the rebel plot. Just as I thought. It appears that your lackey has solidified his position as a traitor to the Second Republic, Falcon. Perhaps, perhaps not. Sparrowson doesn't strike me as a person who sides with any ideology. But, you know, he asked me the most peculiar question. Would you like to know what it was? Of course. Such information is quite valuable. It would cost, say, 30 francs. Klar, was soll's. Yeah, I know how this works. Here's your money, monsieur. Very good. So, on to the question. Sparrowson asked if you were the Viridian killer, the one responsible for the random bombings during the July Revolution 18 years ago. Why on earth would he ask that? Perhaps the inspector had been telling him stories. So what did you tell him? The truth, of course. That is, I have no idea who the Viridian killer is, but that I knew that it couldn't possibly be Falcon. Oh? And how do you know that I'm not the Viridian killer? Falcon, please. You're a semi-drunk, bumbling oaf, not a ruthless killer. Anyway, I've started my own investigation into the Viridian killer. It's fascinating stuff. Apparently he was seen in multiple places at once, which leads some to believe that he was actually more than one person. And do you know why they call him, or should I say them, the Viridian killer? Viridian is a greenish color, isn't it? No, I don't have a clue. Crimson Killer would be a much cooler name. It appears that no one knows the origins of the name, which leads me to suspect that he, or indeed they, chose their own name. This is all fascinating, truly fascinating, but perhaps we can return the conversation to why we're here. Of course. Monsieur Wilps, we heard that you were investigating the murder at Le Hall. I was. That victim was a friend of Mousie's. More of an acquaintance, really. Well, we want to know if you managed to uncover anything. Did you find any leads, any juicy clues? Not as such. It's quite a peculiar case. Did you hear that the murderer wore an eye patch? I did. You know what that implies, don't you, Falcon? You only know of one police officer, indeed, one person, who wears an eye patch. Ja, wo ist er denn? Inspector Valerti. The inspector. But that can't be right. You wouldn't describe him as a murderous man, would you, Monsieur Wilp? Murderous? I don't know. He's certainly passionate about finding the Viridian killer. Who's to say that he wouldn't kill in the pursuit of his arch-enemy? Falcon, I want to solve this mystery as much as you do, but the time is pressing and we have other matters to attend to. We must take our leave. Understood. Until next time, Monsieur Wilp. Goodbye and good luck, Monsieur Falcon. It was a pleasure meeting you, Madame. Monsieur Wilps, that lioness looked pretty angry. Is this revolution going to end in blood, Monsieur Wilps, just like in 1830? Oh Gott. Wahrscheinlich schon, weil ich nicht genug Leute retten konnte. This is it, Falcon. This is the day we make our stand. Everything is coming together. As we speak, Fontaine is gathering the protesters at the Place de la Concorde. Pierrot is making preparations to build and arm a barricade near the Palais Royal. Just as a precaution, you understand. The only question that remains is, are you ready? To be perfectly honest, no, I'm not ready at all. You want me to prosecute the king and prime minister if and when you drag them from the palace, right? Well, I've had no time to prepare. I have no evidence on hand. This whole trial is going to be one big fiasco. You're too fixated on the formalities, Falcon. This revolution will succeed, and those in power will see justice. That's all that matters. But, Madame, come on, let's see how the protest is going. Falcon and Beaumont arrive at the Place de la Concorde. The air is thick with chants, shouts, and cheers of hundreds of protesters. A line of mounted soldiers stands shoulder to shoulder outside the entrance to Tuileries. This is amazing. I had no idea the Second Republic had this many supporters. But of course, you didn't think that we were just a few animals huddling in a cave, did you? The desire for revolution runs deep in the city. Everything's in place at the Palais Royal, ma'am. Just say the word and we'll set up the biggest barricade you've ever seen. Then we can all storm the building and drag that cocky king out of his chair. There's been a change of plan. We're still going to protest, but we're going to do it peacefully. No firing from behind the barricades, no violence, no capturing the king or prime minister. Madame, are you feeling all right? Quite all right, thank you. But what of your desire for a better France? You cannot achieve that without bloodshed. We can certainly try. Falcon convinced me. Falcon. Pacifism seems like the Christian approach, wouldn't you say, Friar? I see. So that's how it is. Excuse me, madam. I think the friar disapproves of the new strategy. He probably thinks I've gone soft, and maybe I have. But I'm not deviating from this path, even if each and every rebel leaves my side. Don't worry, ma'am, you aren't alone. We are not here for the violence, madam. As long as you strive for a better France, we'll always stand with you. This stupid bullet wound. The damn thing's opened up again. What's the news, brother? Is everything in place? We have a problem. The mademoiselle refuses to use violence. She's turned timid. Turned timid? How? It appears that the lawyer, Falcon, is something of a lion-tamer. J.J. Falcon? That bird is proving to be more trouble than the rooster, I swear. Brother, listen. If there's no violence, then there will be no power gap. One leader will just peacefully replace another. We need chaos for our plan to work. Guess we'll have to follow through with our contingency strategy. I'll find the victim, you find the suspect. Don't push yourself, brother. You're still injured. Oh God. Look at those scum. Foul vermin, the lot of them. Mark my words, Sparrowson, every one of these petulant dissenters will take the first opportunity to turn aggressive. They lust for violence. They don't look too violent to me. Trust me, this is just how the crowd looked before the July Revolution. It only takes one crazed individual and the entire crowd will explode into a frenzy. Yeah, toll. Hey, it's you! Friar, it's good to see you again. No time for pleasantries, Inspector. You need it urgently on the Place de la Concorde. Me? Why not ask one of the officers on active guard duty? There's no time to explain. Any minute now. Ah, do you hear that gunshot? It's already begun. Come on, Inspector. We must make haste. Inspector, I really don't think you should be trusting this friar. He's a two-faced wolf. Friar Remus has provided me with reliable information in the past. I trust his judgment. But, Inspector, this isn't up for discussion, Sparrowson. I have a duty to uphold. Stay put. I'll be back in no time at all. But, what should I do now? A gunshot. It was nearby, too. So the friar was right. Violence really is an inevitability. We haven't reached that stage yet, madame. I can't afford to take chances. Not now. Piero, march the crowd to the Palais Royal and construct the barricade. Yes, ma'am. Fontaine, Falcon, we are going to find the source of this disturbance. It came from here, Inspector. Hurry, hurry. I'm moving as fast as these old legs will. Mon Dieu, a body. This woman must have been the target of the gunshot we just heard, but I don't see a shooter. I think the gunshot came from over here. Inspector? Falcon? Well, well, I should have known that the Viridian killer would have had a part in this. Inspector, I'm not. What do we have here? A filthy cop and a dead girl. Madam, thank goodness you're here. I saw the whole thing. This poor innocent mademoiselle was approaching the police line with her hands in the air, when all of a sudden this brute of a police inspector yelled, "Get back, you filthy rebel!" He drew his gun and shot the bird point blank through her heart. What is this nonsense? What are you prattling on about, Friar? Thank you for your input, Remus. It hardly surprises me that a member of the police would be the one to cast the first stone. I think we're all being a little rash. Let's just take a breath, examine the situation, and... Wait a moment. You were an eye patch. You only have one eye, Inspector. How observant. Tell me, were you the policeman who killed the rat at Les Halles too? Les Halles? What are you talking about? 2 incidents of a one-eyed policeman gunning down an innocent victim. There's no way that this is a coincidence. What we have here is a filthy, corrupt individual who takes pleasure in oppressing the common citizen. Am I right, Inspector? I really shouldn't be surprised that a stupid rebel makes stupid assumptions and comes to stupid conclusions. But open your damned eyes, mademoiselle. I'm not the assailant here. Don't call me mademoiselle, or stupid for that matter. Your guilt is plain to see. Given the circumstances, I ought to judge and execute you right here and now. Falcon, don't just stand there gawking. Vouch for me. Ich mag ihn nicht. Und es hilft uns hier mit der Revolution nicht viel. Aber es ist das Richtige. Madam, I know this man. His name is Inspector Valerti. He is ruthlessly law-abiding, so much so that I can't envision him shooting a man without just cause. Oh, shut up, Falcon. I'm done with your idealism. I listened to you. I took your words to heart about avoiding violence, and now a girl is dead. Well, I'm done taking chances. Remus, help me escort this invalid to Piero's barricade. I'll decide his fate there. With pleasure, madame. Come along, Inspector. Fontaine, Falcon, deal with the corpse. Meet us at the barricade when you're done. There's no way this was the work of the police. You know what, Falcon? I think you might be right. An isolated gunshot this far away from the police line, it doesn't make any sense at all. But that's rebellions for you. They are messy affairs. Sometimes innocents get caught in the crossfire and there's no reason for it. Well, there's no use dawdling. Help me get the corpse off the streets. Not yet. I'm going to examine the body first. Examine the body? We agree that this wasn't the work of Inspector Valerti, right? Then there might be some clues on the corpse that point towards what happened. An impromptu coroner's examination, eh? Fine, you have 2 minutes. After that we're heading to the barricade, whether you're done here or not. Okay. Also, wir haben hier eine blutige Wunde. What's this mark? It almost looks like a handprint made in blood. Probably the Mademoiselle's. Ja, nein, wie soll sie so auf ihren Rücken kommen? I don't think so. It's the handprint of a left hand on the girl's left shoulder. There's no way a person could comfortably reach that spot on their own back. I suppose so. But if the handprint doesn't belong to the girl, then who does it belong to? The murderer. It has to be. The question on my mind is, why is the handprint made in blood? Did the murderers sully their hand on the girl's gunshot wound? Or were they injured prior to the shooting? There's so much to uncover here and no time for a thorough investigation. Bloody handprint, wunderbar. This is the bullet wound, right? What can you tell me about it, Fontaine? Well, it looks like the bullet took a fairly straight angle of entry through the Mademoiselle's back. The shooter was probably standing right behind the victim. What's the bullet size? You know, its caliber. Let me guess, you're hoping that the caliber of the bullet is different to the caliber of the inspector's gun. That would conveniently get that one-eyed police officer off the hook, wouldn't it? But I'm afraid I can't help you. I couldn't possibly know a bullet's caliber without having a good look at the bullet itself. And as you can plainly see, the bullet is 3 centimeters deep in the flesh. So, you need to see the bullet itself. Help me retrieve the bullet, Fontaine. Retrieve? You mean dig it out. I assume you have a little more experience in this area than I do. Warum haben wir unser Gerät nicht mehr? Well, you're not wrong there. Fine, this will only take a moment. Here you go, 1 used bullet. It looks like a standard lead rifle or pistol ball, but I'm afraid I cannot tell you its caliber. Why is that? The bullet fragmented upon impact, monsieur. I gathered all the pieces, but I cannot assess its diameter with any accuracy. Still, I would guess that it was 13 to 17 millimeters. Sorry that I can't be more specific. That's an enormous help. Thank you, monsieur. Fragmented bullet. Warum haben wir dieses Gerät nicht mehr? Das würde uns doch nie wirklich abgenommen, oder? Oh. It's a long shot, but maybe this girl is faking her injury. Just for the sake of thoroughness, I really ought to check for a pulse. Right. Das dachte ich zwar nicht, aber... No, nothing. Okay. Everyone's been so fixated on who did this that nobody stopped to ask who this girl was. I don't know, monsieur. Given her clothes, she's probably just another working girl. Just another. I didn't mean to sound glib, but it's true. This is one mademoiselle among the thousands who Entschuldigung. This is one mademoiselle among the thousands who live in Paris. Who was she? Where did she work? Will her family miss her? I don't know, but in the long run, I don't think anybody will care. I care. I can't afford not to. I don't know who this mademoiselle was, but I'm going to see to it that justice is brought about for her death. Okay, und ich glaube, das war's. Ja. Ja. I'm done here. Very good, let's move this body off the street. Then we must hurry to the Palais Royal. Rest in peace, mademoiselle. I'll see to it that justice is done. Huh. Everything's going just as planned. The madame's probably fuming right now. She'll attack the Palais Royal, the Prime Minister will flee, and then... Excuse me, monsieur. What do you want? I'm busy. Don't you recognize me, monsieur? I know that my disguises are a little more complex than yours, but I assumed you would recognize Prince Juan when you saw him. Yeah, Prince Juan. Indeed, and you're Judge Romulus, the corrupt wolf. I know what you did. You tried to assassinate the king. You shot the croque monsieur, and just moments ago I saw you murder a maiden at the Place de la Concorde. You truly are a vile individual, aren't you? Yeah. As if you have any proof for any of that stuff. I'm outta here. I also know that you're one half of the Viridian Killer. On any other day I would gut you where you stand, fox. But as it happens, I'm a little busy today. Oh, the Viridian Killer is too busy to kill me? Is that the truth? Or is that bullet wound of yours starting to affect your prowess? You must have lost an awful lot of blood. What do I do? Oh, hello, Monsieur Wulps! Ah, Monsieur Sparrowson, perfect timing. Who now? Oh, you're that fledgling. I guess this is what they call being stuck between a rock and a hard place, huh? Monsieur Sparrowson, be a dear and help me restrain the Viridian Killer. This guy? He's the Viridian Killer? He looks more like Judge Romulus to me. Well, you would be right about that too. Wow, so he's two scumbags in one. Alright then. Ow! Mind the wound. Quit your whining, Your Honor. Very nice takedown, Monsieur Sparrowson. You may want to check his pockets for weapons. He's something of a notorious killer, after all. Of course, let's see what we've got here. Aha! Here we are. A pistol. Probably the one used to kill the maiden, I suspect. What else can you find, Monsieur Sparrowson? This, a patch? Weird, why would this wolf want... What would this wolf want with an eye patch? Huh. Oh no. This is bad, very bad indeed. I don't get it, what's wrong with an eye patch? There's no time to explain. Mousy. What is it, Monsieur Wulps? What is it? Take this eye patch to J.J. Falcon. If my fears are correct, he'll be somewhere around the Palais Royal right now. Tell him that this belongs to Remus's brother. Hurry now. Right away, Monsieur Wulps, right away. I must go too. I need to find the other half of the Viridian Killer pair before something terrible happens. Wait, Monsieur Wulps, what am I supposed to do with this guy? You have his gun, don't you? March that wolf to the nearest police station and collect a reward for capturing Judge Romulus. What a strange day. In der Tat. Ich würde jetzt gerne eine Pause machen. Ich glaube, ich mache einfach eine Pause. Ich bedanke mich fürs Zuschauen und wir sehen uns beim nächsten Mal. Bis dann!